And we are live. Good morning. Oh, first check in, first shout out. My wife down in Orlando, Sandy Peterson Cooper. Hey there, how you doing? I hope y'all are having fun down there. Everything's. I saw the pictures. Sounds like you are at the Southern 48 Southern Area Conference, if I'm not mistaken, for the esteemed, the illustrious, the one and only Delta Sigma Theta for Sorority Incorporated, of which Sandy is lifelong member. All right. Good morning. I'm back. You are hanging with Dr. Cooper, and I just want to say hello and good morning to all my friends out there in social media land, LinkedIn. I know you all will be popping in here momentarily. Facebook. We are live on Dr. William Cooper and also on Dr. Cooper MD on Facebook. We are also live on Twitter now, and I don't know if StreamYard actually will stream to IG, but I'm going to find out after this. That was a question I had this morning, but I got my cell phone running over here. I got my computer running over here so we can see you all. Hey, what's going on over there, Ro? I see you. Roland Jackson, good friend. Miss Carrie Smith logging in. How you doing? Good morning. Wave. I'm waving at everybody. I can't hit the wave button, but I'm going to say hello and I'm going to give my shout outs because it's been a while. This is the first episode in 2022 for Hanging with Dr. Cooper. I missed you all. I have spent a year. I've been on a 1 year purge and kind of a little bit of a sabbatical. Not really. I've been working my ass off all over the country, really. Today, I am in Denver, Colorado. I am at the Clayton Members Club and Hotel, 233 Clayton. I want to give a shout out to my folks in Denver. It's been an absolute fantastic time. My time here is almost up. I got another 24, 36 hours, and I'm out going back to my old stomping ground, KC. And then, of course, as you all know, the home front, ATL. So I'll be in and out, all about, all around. So everything's working out great. What are y'all up to this summer? What's happening? It's been a while. Cooper's transformed. Look at that. I'm almost 60 pounds down now. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. You want to check that out, go to primohealthpartners.com, my website. Oh, my goodness. We got some stuff coming at you in the next several weeks and months. But Dr. Coop is going to show you all how he was able to do this. It ain't easy, okay? But the fact of the matter is it's the most important thing, because if you don't have your health, you really don't have anything. I work in hospitals, and I am constantly seeing people who are being ravaged by problems that, quite frankly, they shouldn't have. And my job and my mission and my purpose in life is to change that the best that I can. Hey, cuz, Leslie Jefferson, how you doing? Sharp, I see you logging in there. Carol Honea, how you doing? Oh, Cobb County is here. How you doing? I love it. I hope you are well. John Hart, I see you. Tell Mel, Carol, let me go back. Carol, tell Mel I was praying for her. I saw her post on, I think it was Facebook or Instagram, and certainly I don't know if I responded, but certainly my heart was in it, and I hope she's well now. Elisa Shackelford, how are you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for logging in. Okay, enough of the rambling on and on and on. We'll do it after the show maybe and get you all caught up on a lot of more exciting things. But today, here we are. I am here with my good friend, Mrs. Now, Carolyn. Okay, there, I just did it. Okay, Clarice Carolyn Jones. Okay, y'all give her a round of applause. Now, I'm not even gonna get into names, but it's Clarice Carolyn Jones. Okay, now she won't be mad at me, but I know Carolyn, Louise, Herring, Moore, Jones, all of the above. Not no more than she just told me. No more of that, Coop. But that's all good. But anyway, so this is a very serious topic. We want to thank Clarice for being here with us this morning and sharing her story, but also sharing with us what she's doing about it. And you can have a story, but if you're not doing a damn thing about it, who cares? Do something about it. And Carolyn, okay. Exactly. All right. I've already given my apology in advance. I'm going to do that. All right, Clarice, a very, very serious topic. The issue of sex trafficking and the much more generalized term and formal term of human trafficking. So with that, I just want Clarice to tell us who you are, Clarice Jones, and where you come from. Tell us about your background. Just let it go. Let us have it. Give it to us.
Well, my name is Clarice Carolyn Louise Herring Jones. I'm a veteran, 8 years in the
Who?
Navy.
Well, I
Yeah.
can't say who. I don't know what y'all say.
Well, yeah. We get it. So yes, I am a veteran. I am married to a retired veteran who's Army. I have
Who?
11 children.
Awesome.
Yes, 11 children, 11 grandchildren.
Awesome.
I am a victim of domestic violence, survivor of domestic violence. I'm a national playwright. I'm an author. I'm a publisher. I'm an actress, director, producer. I am an author of the book When Enough is Enough. Um, I'm a motivational speaker. I am an evangelist. I am a certified officer of the courts, CASA worker. An advocate for domestic violence. And I
Mhm.
think that's pretty good. That's enough. CASA worker, caseworker, all that wonderful
Mhm.
stuff. Mhm.
That's great. That's great. That's great, Clarice. But who are you? My
Who-
question remains. Those are a
Yeah,
lot of descriptors and I guess if you will occupations and all that. But who is Clarice? What tell us about you.
Carolyn is a child of the Most High God. I am someone that loves to help others. I love true humanitarian, my brother's keeper. Um, I'm a well rounded person that really just loves mankind.
Mhm. Yeah, that's you. That's you right there. That comes out in all of those things that you talked about.
Yeah,
Actor, producer,
yeah,
evangelist. Who you are is expressed in what you
my
do.
works. Yes.
Um, and so that's important. I spent the last year, just so everybody knows, I spent the last year really going through really intense coaching, executive coaching program. Not only so I really don't need that to make money, but really to understand me.
Yeah.
And it's really I think so important. I was speaking to a young lady last night, and it's so important. And she was rattling off all these things, the same way. Well, I sold coffee, I did this, I did that, and so I just said, okay, I'll just listen. But I said, who are you?
Mm,
What are you seeking? Okay, what is it that you seek? What is your purpose in life? Whole nother conversation, Carolyn. But here's the deal. Today we are here to talk about this issue of sex trafficking.
correct.
And so, and I know this is real, not tough for you because this is what you do. You've been there.
Yeah.
You've already dealt with the trauma.
Yes.
That's clearly, but it's never a situation that you don't cure yourself of that.
No, no.
Okay. But what you do is you gain sovereignty over that.
That's right.
Okay. You gain sovereignty over that. Well, that no longer controls you. All right. So we're
Right.
going to go deep a little bit on this conversation if you're okay with that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right. Good. Um, where did you grow up, Carolyn? Tell us about your upbringing.
I'm a military brat. My father was a Purple Heart, traveling everywhere. Born in Germany. Majority of my school years I spent in Colorado, where you're actually at.
Mhm.
I grew up
Yeah,
in
we talked about that the other day. Yeah, I love Colorado. That's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I grew up in Colorado most of my elementary, high school years, even my college years. A graduate of UCCS, University of Colorado Springs. Um, Graduate of Pikes Peak Community College. I am a graduate of Fayetteville State University in North Carolina. And most of my life in Colorado was in church. My mom
Mhm.
was an evangelist, and a lot of my life was spent in church, focusing on education. I've always worked for the government, city, county, state, never really anything outside of that because that's just who I am. Growing up being military, it was kind of instilled in you for the stability of government. So
Mhm.
I will say that for the most part, my life was mostly in Colorado, born in Germany, but grew up in Colorado.
I imagine you spent a little time at Fort Collins, perhaps.
I very little, mostly in Colorado Springs, Fort Carson,
Fort Carson.
Air
Yeah.
Force Academy. Yeah,
Got it. Got it. Understood. Understood. Carolyn, tell us a little bit about, you know, what you want to tell us about your
yeah,
experience with domestic violence and sex trafficking. And then we'll talk a little bit about how that has led to some of the things you've done in your life's journey.
you're right. Yeah,
And then also just want to mention right now, you know, up front, Carolyn has produced a stage play called Angel's Palace. Carolyn, where is
yeah,
that? Where is that going to? Tell us where, you know, people can get tickets. Where is it going to be playing? I know you're going to be traveling. I know right now you're in Metro Atlanta, but
right.
tell us a little bit about Angel's Palace. Just to how do we connect with it? But we're going to bring the story up to the story here in a moment.
Okay,
Go ahead.
okay. Angel's Palace is going to be in Fayetteville, Georgia, at the Brittmore Amphitheater on Saturday, July 23rd. Next Saturday. Tickets can be bought on Eventbrite. You can also get them at the door as well. Um, they're $30. Because of my passion for Angel's Palace and the message, children are free with an adult purchase. It's important to me that they get the message and that they understand the awareness and prevention of sex trafficking.
Let me ask you this, and this is a question I just learned this in preparing for our time here together today.
Okay.
Are you all video recording it, and later this can be seen, or can they purchase to watch it online somewhere later? And is that Eventbrite also?
They're trying to set that up so it can be
Okay.
live streaming through Clark TV Network.
Okay.
Um, we are getting ready to film it as a motion picture feature film in
Great.
the next 2 weeks. So I'm pretty excited about that. They wanted to do it the same day. I said, "No, we can't do it the same day as the play." They said, "Girl, this script is so good. This has to be a movie."
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, although I graduated from Fayetteville State Mass Comm and theater, my professor told me, he says, "Carolyn, you are not a playwright." I said, "No." He said, "You're a screenwriter."
Hmm.
And I'm coming to the understanding of the difference because there's so much in my brain that I want to put out there, but you can't put it on stage, you know?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
can't overwhelm the audience with everything that's in your brain. So to put that into perspective, it's got to be a movie. I mean, because my brain's like, oh my God, we got to show this and show that. And you
Hmm.
can't put that on stage. So
Hmm.
this play, Angel's Palace, I will say it is top notch. It is, I'm stroking my own self and patting myself on the back because it's amazing.
Don't apologize for that. Hell,
Yeah,
if you don't vote for you, how do you expect anybody else to vote for you?
right,
There's
right.
no apology necessary. Hell yeah, you did a damn good job.
Yeah,
And that's what you do. And you do
yeah,
that because you care and
yeah,
because that's
yeah.
who you are. So
That
yeah,
is
you own
right.
it. Own it. You
Yeah,
know, want it. You
I'm
know,
learning to
yeah,
do that.
want it. I mean, hey, that's what I do, but I'm not doing this out of selfishness. I'm giving you a part of me. Nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that.
yes.
No, anyway, that's Coop coming out. Anyway, hanging with Dr. Cooper here this morning. Let me just give a couple shout outs. There we go. We're here with Clarice Carolyn Jones. We're talking about her stage play, Angel's Palace, is going to be playing in Fayetteville, Georgia. Get your tickets on Eventbrite, even if you don't go buy a damn ticket. Okay? Buy a ticket,
Yes,
$30. You're helping a cause.
yes,
Okay? You're having a very serious cause. So just buy the ticket, give it to somebody in Fayetteville. Just donate it. Send it back to Carolyn and say, Carolyn, give this to somebody who wants to go. I can't be there.
yeah,
Okay? Yeah, I'm getting raw in 2022.
yeah,
Coop has purged some stuff. Okay. So you can either come hang with me or just roll on. It's all good. No issues. Hey there, cuz Ernest. I see you, man. Pam Brown. I see you. Fedra, how are you doing? Always tuning in on LinkedIn. I appreciate you all. Love you all so much for being here and being a part of this journey with me, with Hanging Decker. This is my purpose. This is my purpose. There's a lot of stuff that comes out here on Hanging with Dr. Cooper that's relative to my life's purpose. And I hear what you're saying, Carolyn. So now that's why we're here. We're here to discuss, and we're going to get to and introduce you all to Carolyn's play over on Instagram. I see you all. She's so Naya. Oh, my one and only. Look at that. My oldest granddaughter. Y'all know I got to stop to say, hey, baby, how you doing? Come see me, okay? Hey, Papa. Hey, baby, I see you. Lord have mercy. You know I got to do that. That's my one and only because she's the first grandchild. How about that? Okay, just graduated high school, going to college here in a couple weeks or so. We need to talk about that. Get me caught up, okay? All right, so here we are. We're with Clarice Carolyn Jones, and she's a lot of things, but more importantly, she's a wonderful There we go, John. I appreciate that. All right, we need somebody to match John. John just bought 10 tickets. John Carter
What?
just bought 10 tickets, and he's going to donate them. Okay, so we need y'all to step up. I don't care where you are,
Thank
in
you.
Denver, California, wherever you are. Buy the tickets, give them away, give them to somebody.
Yeah.
Get this message out. Okay, Carolyn. So let's get into this issue of sex trafficking.
Yes, sir.
Tell us now. Take us there with you to
Yeah.
wherever you want us to go.
Okay.
Tell us your experience with this domestic violence. We'll get into the statistics and what's happening out there in the world, but let's hear your story. Here it is. Let's hear it. Tell the world.
As a survivor of domestic violence, I was married to my ex-husband, who was a minister at the church, and I experienced a lot of domestic violence. It took me years to come out with my story. He broke my leg in half, tibia fibia, May 1st of 1994 on a Sunday after church, and he choked me unconsciously. I pretended to be dead, and I'll never forget that day. He was choking me, and I said, "Carolyn, hold your breath. You're an actress. They were touching you how to. Nobody knows you're breathing." And I held my breath and pretended to be dead. And he kicked me, spit on me to make sure I was dead. Then he got on the phone and called my mother and said, "You need to come check on your daughter. She's not doing too well."
Yeah, this guy's a pastor, a preacher.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
very
That's
well
all I'm
liked.
gonna say about that. Is okay, all right.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
everybody loved him, liked him. As a matter of fact, he looks like he could be Tyler Perry's twin. Same height, same build, same everything, haircut, nose color. But what you see on the outside is not who he was on the inside. And even in that, I know that I stayed because I knew his history of being a survivor of domestic violence and incest and parent abuse. And so, you sometimes you think you can change and heal people, but you really can't do that. You got to let some things go because they can hurt you while they are going through not wanting to change and not wanting to heal. So, it took years of being married with somebody. And I later found out after getting a job with the state that he had lost a job at MCI. And I told him, I said, "That's impossible. You can wire a building blindfolded." So I said, "You need to get evaluated." And when he did, it came back that he was bipolar, ADHD, and dyslexic. And I thought, oh my gosh. I said, "But you know what? If you take the meds and go to counseling, you can have a healthy life." He said, "Hell no, I ain't doing it. FUB." I said, "Oh, that's when I knew enough was enough. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, that I knew that God created me for a purpose and it was okay to leave. Because after finding out he done slept with everybody in the church, including my best friend, I knew I was relieved to leave. I don't have to stay in this type of relationship. And even when the day I left, I moved away from Colorado and I came to Atlanta because I was told in Georgia you can get a divorce out here in 6 months once you establish residency. So I bought a house out there in the Broadlands in Cobb County, and I went to the courts and I said, "Judge, please sign." And I showed him this big old repertoire of all these arrest records and criminal history. And the
Mm,
judge said, "If I sign this, don't you ever come back to Georgia again. Get out of here as fast as you can." So
mm,
I signed it, and I went home and I'm packing. And next thing I know, the kid says, "Mom, he stole the baby." I said, "What?" He came, kidnapped my baby, which happens to be my husband's child, and he kidnapped her. And then when I called the police, they told him they're going to get him for felony kidnapping charges if he didn't bring her back. So when
mm,
he brought her back, he honked the horn. I ran outside. He said, "You want this baby B?" And I was like, "Give me the baby. It's over." He said, "Nah, this baby means that much to you. That if and da 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 means that much to you." And so I don't know if you've seen the movie Color Girls. So imagine someone holding children out of a window. And the closer you get, the lower he's getting to dropping the children. Well, the closer I got to him, the higher he's holding her in the air outside of the window. And I'm like, "Could you just give me the baby?" And I kept saying, "Okay, God, what do I do?" He's like holding this baby up in the air, and the closer I get, he's holding her higher and higher out the window of the van. So I went to go try to grab her, and he said, "She means that much to you, B? Then you catch her." He spit out the driveway and threw her out the window. I was like,
mm,
oh my God. I was devastated. And I ran to pick her up out the yard, and she wasn't crying. She wasn't moving. I panicked. I was having a fit, and she just wasn't crying. She wasn't. I thought, she was dead, and so I called the police, and they said, "Take her to the emergency room, and we'll meet you there." And so when I got there, the doctors examined her, X-rays. They scanned her from her head to her feet, and the doctor says, "There's nothing wrong with her.
Mm.
No bleeding, no contusions, no broken, nothing." And she was only 6 months old. And the police came and says, "We'll press charges, whatever you want to do." And I said, "Carolyn, your divorce is over. You need to go back and find your real man. If you stay, you're going to be cut up in courts and stuff." And I said, "Nah, I got to get out of here." So I packed my kids up and went to the bank and getting the money out of my bank, and it was empty. Oh my God, he took all my money. So I went to where he's wiring this building over in the West End. And I'm yelling and screaming, going, "Where's my money? You took it." He said, "B, you don't want me? You ain't getting no money." I said, "You took all of my money out the account." I said, "Your name wasn't on it. What did you do?" He says, "Doesn't matter. I know what to do. And I got your money. And if you want your money, you'll be staying with me." And I said,
Now, let me just stop you right there, Carolyn. That wasn't the beginning, but you described what happened in 1994. But
"Yeah,
that's not the pivotal event. Uh,
right.
that's the culmination of a lot of stuff. So
Yeah."
bring us up to speed. So we're now late 90s now, or where are we now?
After I left, I mean, I drove, and my sister, I didn't have but
Was that
25 miles.
was that in 1994 as well, or was that? Oh, so that was kind of the event that said, okay, enough is enough.
Well,
I'm just trying to get the
94
time
was
frame.
when 94 you broke my leg,
Okay.
press charges and everything, and then 95 I got to get away. So I had the baby in 95. I ran away to Atlanta, filed the paperwork for divorce in Atlanta in 95, and he found out where I was at. He came here, I served him, I got my divorce, and then I left to come back to Colorado to find my real man. Found out my real man was already engaged to somebody else to get married.
Let me ask you something, Carolyn. So I mean, you know, that's one story. That's one story.
Yeah.
And we know victims of domestic violence have all kinds of stories.
Yes.
Um, and weaved into that is sexual exploitation. There is all kinds of manipulation and things like that.
Yes.
And we don't need to get in details with that. But as you're going through this and you're having all of these various experiences, what was, I mean, deep down inside of you, obviously what came out in that story is your just grit and will to protect the kids. Okay, I could see that. I mean, I don't know a woman in this world who wouldn't put her life on the line to save a child.
Yeah.
Um, what else was going on inside of you? We know that, but you kind of had given up.
Mhm.
It sounds to me, and I'm not a psychologist by
No,
no
you're
stretch of the
right.
imagination, but just an observer. It sounds like to me you had given up a piece of you somehow.
Yeah. I mean, there was a part of me that said, "You do what you do, you stay with somebody," because I grew up in a two-parent home, and, you can make this work, and you've got kids by this person, and you want them to grow up in a healthy environment. And and then I'm thinking, I thought what I was going through was a norm for people. I was like, my mom and dad been married 20 some years, my grandmother probably 40, 50 years, and you just have to stay with that person because that's how I was raised, to stay in a two-parent home, and your children having the same father, and you know the church and stuff. And then I'm like, I can't leave because I was raised better than that. This is stability, and this is family and unity, and I was so engulfed in church that I would never go against the word of God. And when I
Hmm.
tell you, I had to study the word to understand that he created your temple for a purpose, and you have a purposeful life. And it is not to let anybody destroy in the body that he created. And so it took me studying to understand that I could leave
Hmm.
for adultery for the most part, but also because I knew that God created my body to not have anybody destroy and to be distraught over it. And then I thought about my kids, and I said, it's a generational curse too. You bring them up in an environment of abuse, you're creating something for them to say it's okay to marry somebody that's controlling and abusive, because that's all they ever saw. And my mom
Mm.
accepted it. That's how it's supposed to be. And so I say that because although my parents were not abusive and I didn't see none of that, I saw my sister, who was abused. And she's like, I gotta stay. I'm like, Nita, but you got a black eye and he burnt you up. And she's like, June, I gotta stay with him. I've been with him for 40 years. Nobody would ever want me. And I thought, okay, my sister stayed and she endured it. I'm not supposed to leave.
Yeah. And so here you are. Here you are, beautiful, educated, can do whatever you want to do, articulate, and yet you were attached to that. I'm not even gonna call it what I want to call it. I got a bunch of pastor friends out here, and we can anyway, it's all good. We're gonna talk. We'll debate with them later. But it's interesting. You're married to this gentleman who's standing in the pulpit, who's doing all of these just absolutely horrible things to you and your children and your family. And yet the dogma that kept you attached was the exact dogma that he's preaching every day. Think about the irony of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about the irony. And so the world is a twisted place. The world, let me back up on it. The world's not twisted. People can be twisted.
That's
Okay?
right.
And so I wanted to highlight that because I think it's important for people to understand. And I know it's out there. There's so much information out there now: domestic violence, human trafficking, sex trafficking, all of these absolutely horrible things. But it's a lot easier than you think to get yourself caught up in it.
Oh
And
yeah.
a whole hell of a lot harder to get out of it.
Oh boy.
I don't give a damn how smart and articulate you may be and what kind of background and upbringing you may have had.
Right.
It's a cancer.
It is.
Absolute cancer. I just want to get up to date real quick. I want to do a little shout outs. Bessie Webb, mother-in-law, checking in. Good morning. How you doing? I'll see you in the next couple of days in KC. For sure. You all are hanging with Dr. Cooper. This is episode 1, 2022. And we are discussing today human trafficking, domestic violence, sex trafficking. We're going to get to that here momentarily with my guest, Clarice Jones. And she is the, I guess, if you will, the writer, producer, founder, originator of Angel's Palace.
Yes,
A real life sex trafficking story. They have a stage play that she's put together that's going to be live next Saturday, July 23rd in Fayetteville, Georgia. You can get your tickets at Eventbrite. Tickets are $30. If you can go in person, go. If you can't, buy the damn ticket anyway. I'm going to buy 10 tickets. John Carter just it had me say, Cooper, you over here talking all this trash. What are you going to do? So I'm buying 10 tickets too for you, Claire. Just give them to whoever you want to give them to. But I want everybody on here this morning to buy a ticket, even if you can't make it. But if you can, please go. Yeah. The show, although if you can't go, she's working on where you'll be able to see it later on one of the streaming networks. Clark TV Network is one. Yes. And so you'll be able to see it. It's going to be videotaped, so you'll be able to see it later on. But we need to make this money so that Carolyn can continue her mission to getting this message out there, and also supporting the efforts of literally millions of people around the world who are working on this problem. So here we are in this domestic violence situation, Carolyn. Tell me about this evolution of the sex trafficking. How did that get weaved into this? I know there's, from conversations you and I have had over a couple of years ago, this gets real complex and can get complicated. So tell us about the sex trafficking piece and how that led to you really that being a major focus for you.
Yes.
And putting together this play, Angel's Palace.
Yes. Angel's Palace is a true story. It is a story about my niece. My niece was trafficked by her mother. How she ended up on my doorstep was my nephew, which is the father. He called me and says, Auntie, I need your help. And I'm like, what is it?
Oh, wait a minute. Second. Hold on. Stop. The nephew is the father. Oh, hold on now. You got to clean that up for me in the audience.
Right.
Clean that up.
My nephew, which is my sister's son, has a daughter. He has 5 children by this woman. And one of the children was being trafficked. The other 4 were being groomed and prepared to be trafficked. So this is like his ex-girlfriend.
Okay, I got you. Now I'm with you. Okay, yeah. Clean that up for me, because my mind, at 54, your mind's a little slow, Carolyn. So you start thinking, you're like, wait a minute, hold up. So your niece, your nephew had a daughter.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now. I'm with
you.
No.
Yeah. But
Okay.
that's a story by itself. Oh my gosh. But so he called me and said he didn't know what to do. As a CASA worker and a caseworker, I figured, I can handle this. It's not going to be a big deal. I deal with domestic violence. I all I knew was that he said that the mom was selling her, and I was like, okay, I can figure this out. No piece of cake. When she came, I was like, Queenie, your mom did what? She's like, Auntie, I found an email that said that the guy that she made me marry, there was a contract and there was an agreement between the two of them that I would sleep with him and I would perform on the streets for money. I was like, what? So then I
So
said,
now
okay,
this is after the kid has been, or she made her way to your doorstep, or tell me how.
yeah,
Okay.
they're from Colorado,
Okay.
Boulder,
Okay.
Colorado. And so my nephew from Colorado, so he flew her to me in
Okay.
Atlanta. And so when she got here on my doorstep, I took her over to the domestic violence shelter, Promise Place, and they said,
Yeah. Love it.
"Oh, we don't deal with domestic violence. We don't know what to do." I took her to the police department. They said, "We don't. This is not our territory. This is not for us to handle this." And I said, "Nobody helped this girl. I don't. I was stuck." And so we called Homeland Security. Homeland Security did the report over the phone. They sent her to a place where they declared that she had been trafficked by her mother. They did an examination mentally, physically, head to toe, and they determined that Georgia Cares by the state determined that she had been sex trafficked by her mother.
Mm.
And as a victim of sex trafficking, when I got her, she was only 16. This had been going on for 3 years. She was married to an older guy, probably, if I was to say she's 16, he would have been maybe 22. And her mom made her marry him. They had their own little private ceremony, and
Okay. Okay.
she'd never been to school before. And I was like,
What, at 16 in America? Never been to school before. Boulder, Colorado.
which to me is a conspiracy of government because you got this kid, all these kids are dancing and street performing in front of the mayor's office in Denver, Colorado, but you don't question that in the middle of the day that they should be in school. And I asked her about that. I said, Queenie, when you guys are doing this, nobody questioned why you're not in school? She said, well, yeah, Auntie, they did. And they would say, why are you not in school? And we would say, oh, our mom is homeschooling us. So they were brainwashed and programmed to say certain things. And the relationship was with the mayor of
Oh
both.
Lord, don't call any names. We don't want to get anybody. We don't want to get us in trouble here now. Well, okay.
Right. Right. I
I don't
mean,
want to. I don't want to start indicting and convicting people here in
right. But
Colorado right now. But so
yeah,
let's not let's stay away from that because Coop is trying to be around for a while. But anyway, I understand what you're saying though. It's
yeah,
like, okay,
yes,
how could we find ourselves in this situation and people not question? And this now, so this is a very important point. From my understanding of how this evolves, it's the subtle things like that people just sort of ignore. And
yeah,
also, I see that all the time. Sometimes I just said, clearly in the last couple, 2-3 years, it's been, with COVID, because school has been kind of up and down, in and out. We don't know where are they homeschooling? Are they remote or whatever? And you see kids out, in the middle of the
right.
day. I have asked myself that question: what are you doing out here? Walking around the mall, and I'm here because I don't want to be around y'all. You know what I mean? At 11 o'clock on a Wednesday, I came
Yeah,
here so I don't have to
yeah,
deal with you all.
exactly.
But here you are. So, but it's those subtle little things like that. So now, this is a woman who let me just ask you, how many kids did she have, and how many did she traffic?
She had 5, and the oldest, which is my niece, I got her at 16. She was the main person that had the contract with it. She had to sleep with this guy 7 to 10 times a day.
Hold
She
on,
had
wait a second. A contract. Wow.
Yeah, contracted to sleep with him 7 to 10 times a day. The children were being groomed, and they were, like, as early as 5, 10, 12, and 8. So they were all young, but they were being groomed by being drugged. They had to watch satanic movies of sexual acts of men and women being together with children,
And I'd imagine these weren't all girls. Because human trafficking is male, female.
boys, everybody.
It doesn't matter.
No,
Just FYI, gentlemen and ladies out there, this is a gender neutral issue. Okay, big
exactly.
time, especially when it comes to
Exactly.
children. Especially when it comes to children.
Yeah.
Keep going, Carolyn. I'm
Yes.
listening,
Yes.
and the audience is too.
And what you're saying is true because the others were being groomed. So the boy He was in the bed with his sister while she's having relations with the husband, but the husband was grooming him to be with men and women at the same time. So a lot of garbage was going on, and as I learned about this trafficking through my niece, I didn't understand the language of any of this stuff until she came, and I'm like, what? And I had her in counseling, different counselors, so much that they said, we can't help her. And I said, how are you not able to help? They said, what has happened to her with sex trafficking so deep? There's layers and layers that are peeling off that we can't even help her with. She's got to have a specialist. And I put her in school thinking that she's never been before. And she had a cell phone, and that was a travesty. Cell phone, her talking to people was how they were contacting her and pulling her back in. And I was like, what is happening? And she says, oh, I got a friend over here and a friend over there. I'm like, what?
Mhm.
So I found out later she was brainwashed to say certain things out of her mouth and do certain
Wow.
things. And she was labeled as a seductress. But when she walks in the room, all eyes are on her. When she opens up her mouth, she seems like Whitney Houston,
Mhm.
beautiful inside out, just very honorable, gracious, polite, humble, just beautiful. And you would never think something like that would be in that little person, this little 16-year-old little girl.
Mhm.
When I say gorgeous, inside out, her voice beautiful, that you would just pour money into her when she would just sing, and that's why she was a street performer.
So now so Angel's Palace is her story.
It's her story,
I
and
see.
she
Yeah.
went on. Pastor Bryant put her on the Word Network, and so she told her whole story all over the whole world. What happened to her? She was on Word Network. She was on Clark TV Network, and so she did say, "My mother contracted me to marry somebody, and I had to sleep with him 7 to 10 times a day. I was brainwashed. I was drugged. Me and my siblings were molested. Um, they did videos of her having relations with this guy and making money off of the videos. And,
Lord. Mm.
and I asked my niece, I said, you're telling the story. She says, Auntie, I'm telling the story because the whole world needs to know this is scary. And
Mm.
once you get in it, it's hard to get out of it. She says, I'm so brainwashed that I don't even know that I do the things that I do and why I do it. And it's hard for me to come out of it. I mean, I was just stunned. I had thought I was helping somebody, but what happened was is I found out I was learning something, and I thought, if I don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, that's right. That's a
I
real that's a real revelation right there. I mean,
Yes, yes.
and I just want to stop 1 minute. Just you all are hanging with Dr. Cooper. This is episode 1, 2022. So glad you are here, and glad for those of you who are not. It's all good. It is. I'm in Denver, Colorado. I'm at the Clayton Members Club and Hotel, my new little home away from home. Well, it's going to end in about 24, 48 hours because I ain't got to go home, but I got to get the hell up out of here. So anyway, and on to the next. Hello, Instagram. I just want to say hello, Posh Politics, KT Dogs. I can some of these eponyms or whatever you want to call them. I can't get them all. Rogs, HWIR_IO. Thank you all for being here. I know it's a bunch more of you all out there. Rashawn Hodge. Hey, Doc. What's going on? DK573. Carrie Smith. Chillin' Dot. Hey, Chillin' Dot. Oh, from my Martha's Vineyard folks. Oh, I love you all. I missed you this year. I'll be back next year. Chad Lee, how you doing? On my Instagram, people popping in. If you really want to get on the conversation, unfortunately, I haven't figured out the technology and how to get you, my guest, over here on Instagram with you. So if you got another device, computer or something, pop over to Instagram's owner, Facebook, and you can see Carolyn and I both online. We're talking about her stage play is going to be showing next week in Atlanta, July 23rd. Angel's Palace, a real life sex trafficking story. And we're talking about that right now. So glad you all joined with us here today on Hanging with Dr. Cooper. I just want to give a little story. That's a very dramatic story right there. But last night I had a conversation. I was out and about and I meet people and having all, and when you're by yourself, you just kind of, you lock in on somebody and we just talk. And I was talking to this young lady at a restaurant and it was very interesting. I said, hey, you may want to check out my podcast. I'm talking about sex trafficking. Here was a story that she told. And to your point about the cell phone and this connectivity and how this internet web digital connections that we have is really a facilitator for human trafficking in a huge way.
Yes.
So she told the story about as a young lady met another young lady online. And they just became friends or whatever. This young lady was from Puerto Rico. She'd never been there. And they just got to develop a relationship. Hey, let's get together live and in person. I think the young lady that she met was from New York, but Puerto Rican. This young lady I was talking to somehow finds herself in Puerto Rico to meet up with her. Okay, they're just going to, get to know each other, have a good time. She gets to see, a part of the U.S. that she hasn't seen, and ends up on a boat with a lot of non-English speaking, Spanish speaking people. And
Wow.
she said there was something in her gut that just something in her intuition. Listen to your intuition. It's real.
Yes.
God put it there for a reason. Okay. Listen to that little voice, intuition, whatever you want to call it. It's real. So she ends up on this boat off the coast of Puerto Rico. And she's like, this something's not right. I just don't feel right. She talks to her friends. Oh no, everything's okay. We're only going to be here for a couple of hours. So luckily her intuition, you know, uh, took her to into a defensive mode to try to figure out what's going on here. Why am I here around all these people I can't communicate? I only know you. And the girl's trying to settle her down or whatever. Luckily for her, she still had a cell signal. Was
Mm.
able to get a hold of a friend back in the States whose husband I think was still um, somehow involved with the government. Was able to call, make a few phone calls. She was asked questions. Is there a number on the boat? Is there a name on the boat? Is there, something, well, all she knows is this young girl's name, which happened to be a fictitious name.
Mm.
Um, Come to find out, so she's kind of in panic mode. She's on the phone. At least they didn't at that point become violent with her. She
Right.
was able to communicate. They were able to get a hold of Coast Guard. Coast Guard came and met the boat. Just so happens the boat was full of drugs. In the walls of the boat, all kinds of stuff. The young lady had lied about her identity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she's like, I have no idea what was going to happen to me, but I know this: it was not going to be good. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, I don't know if they were going to, sell me, into some kind of underground sex. They're going to drug me. Is at this point, you just imagine you're out on a boat in the middle of wherever,
Yeah,
off the coast of Puerto Rico, and you're afraid to even drink the water because you don't know if somebody put something in your water.
that's right.
That's hot. You're sweating,
Yes.
dehydrated very quick.
Yes.
Just think about that. And just the
Yeah.
little things that give me that bottle of water. Sure. The next thing you know, you wake up in some foreign country somewhere. So I say that just to add on to what you were saying about now. This was a young lady who was groomed to
Mm-hmm.
do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, groomed
Yeah. Yeah.
along with all of her siblings,
Yeah.
groomed to do this. But the other end of that spectrum is it can be very, 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 very subtle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the message here is, I know my young granddaughter. You listen to. We've already talked about these things. Is over here on IG. She may be over here now. Naya, your intuition, and we have straight up conversations. She knows that. I don't hold my tongue, and all my daughters,
Good.
son as well, know that we have real conversations about this stuff. But that it can be as subtle as that.
Mm-hmm.
Meeting somebody online. Now people say, well, you shouldn't do that anyway. Well, come on. Young people are connected. They're entrepreneurial. They're curious.
Yeah.
The internet and cell phones and stuff like this has allowed them to get to know and understand other cultures. I think to some extent that's
Mm-hmm.
good, but it can also be very, very dangerous. And that is
Exactly.
the message here. So you have to be very discerning. You have to look for those subtle clues and cues and protect yourself. All right. So we're hanging with Dr. Cooper. We're talking to Clarice Carolyn Jones, my good friend, actress, producer, director, author, evangelist, and on a mission
Yes.
to tell the story of human trafficking, sex trafficking, domestic violence through the modicum of film and plays
Yes.
and drama. So tell us how the idea and the evolution of Angel's Palace came to be. What motivated you? What motivated you to kind of say, okay, you know what? this is my niece. I have raised her now. We've kind of gotten her in a better place. We need to tell this. She wants to tell the story.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
tell us how we got to Angel's Palace. Uh, we kind of know what it's about now. You don't have to spill any beans.
yeah.
But tell us what you want to get out of this and where are we going with Angel's Palace.
Most importantly, as a playwright, I know I can reach an audience. As the evangelist, as a motivational speaker, you reach that audience at a broader span. And
Yeah.
I knew that I couldn't keep it to myself. If I don't know what's going on with this world of sex trafficking and human trafficking, you don't know. And for me, we are obligated to save lives. We are to save the children's lives. They don't understand that their friends are trafficking them. Their parents traffic them. This is a multi-million dollar industry,
Billion.
$1 billion
Billion.
industry,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And so everybody wants money. Kids want money, so they're going to sell their friends out to someone that's giving them money. And parents are doing this. So I figured if I don't know this, you don't know it. And these children don't know that they can't trust people. They got to know the signs and the signals to prevent this from happening to them. So this play gives you everything. We give you the awareness. We show you how to prevent it from happening to you. We give you the educational stunning approach of, wow, it really happened to someone. And with it being a true story, it hits you better than something you see on TV, because TV stuff is made up as entertainment. When I
Mhm.
bring you something on stage and what you're seeing is the real deal, it gives you a different effect of, oh my God, I'm going to be more careful about where my kids go, who they're with. They're going to be careful of who they're with, why they're doing it, and not to grab that certain piece of paper that may have angel dust on it, that as soon as you sniff it or look at it, you're knocked out. There's
Mhm.
some dangerous things out there. And for me, if it was dangerous for me to not understand the language, it's dangerous for you.
Mhm.
Uber drivers and people that are insurance salesmen, everybody in the industry is trying to make money, and they're selling bodies to do it, even so much as they're selling body organs out of the bodies, and they're threatening the lives of your family if you don't be obedient to what they're doing. They're branding you, going from one family to another that owns you. And so you may have a branding of different names on your body. That means you are the territory of the Thomases, and now you're territory of the Jacksons. And so when it says trafficking, your body is going from one destination to another. So it was important for me to just let the whole entire world know that this is dangerous. It's a travesty. And Atlanta is like top rated, and they're taking them by the hundreds out in loads of these big old trucks and vans. And you think that they're professional working vans, they're working on the bodies and destroying
Mhm.
them.
Yeah, I heard as a physician, have heard about these really horrific stories, but I haven't heard about it in the U.S., but I'm sure it's happened. We are the epicenter for everything, where they've actually, ladies and gentlemen, taken kidneys from
Yes,
human beings,
yes,
and this was a big deal in Asian countries, China in particular. I'm gonna go ahead and call them out. Involuntarily taking
yeah,
your kidneys out and giving it to other people. I mean, this gets really, 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 really treacherous.
yes.
And it's interesting you mentioned the Uber drivers, and I'm not here to impugn or to you know try to smear anybody, but and I don't mean Uber per se, but it's the people
Right,
behind those wheels, taxi drivers. You
exactly.
could say that. I mean,
Yeah,
this is used to be taxi drivers, now it's Uber drivers who are. It's all interconnected. People are, as you said, they're so driven by money
funny.
because they haven't found their true purpose in life. All they know how to do is chase money, not
Exactly.
that to really command money.
Right.
You chase your passion, and money will come. Trust
That's
me,
right.
it will come. All right, hanging with Dr. Cooper, okay. And I like what you said about you know um, finding that place, that mode, or that medium where your passion can be expressed.
Yeah.
And if it's authentic, then the money will follow. You don't have to chase money like that.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, this story is so powerful. I don't. This is a little tough to kind of talk about because you really want to get into the nitty gritty, down dirty part of it, but you don't want to do that. You want people to go see the play,
Do.
or
Oh,
we
you will not
we need.
be mad. You'll be mad at
Yeah,
yourself if you don't see it. It's mind blowing. You get to
yeah,
find out why someone did what they did to their own child and where they came from and where their mind was when
yeah,
they did it.
yeah. Got a question up here on the screen. How did your niece get the courage to start speaking about sex trafficking?
Because her siblings
Mm,
needed to know the truth. They needed to be saved.
mm,
And it was scary for her. She didn't initially, she was in rejection. She was making up stuff and she wasn't being honest. And then after counseling, she says, I'm healed. And I want the whole world to know this is a dangerous industry. And if it happened to me, it can happen to you. Or
yeah.
I'm innocent. I love my mother and I'll do anything in the world that my mama says do.
Yeah. It's interesting the parallel there with your story in the domestic violence, where it wasn't really about you. At some point, the thing and that seems to be a theme for a lot of people I've talked about who've been in these situations. It wasn't really about them, but they started seeing the effect on other people that they loved, and they didn't want them to go through it.
Yeah.
And I see the same kind of thing there with your niece. All of a sudden, I'm good, but I
Yeah.
can't let this happen to them.
Exactly.
I've got to I've got to do something now. I've matured. I went through this for
Mhm.
whatever reason, and I
Yeah.
now have got to do something about this. I want to give a few more shout outs here. Y'all are hanging with Dr. Cooper. Pam Green, Jeter, I know you've been hanging out there for a moment. Thank you so much. Ricky Brown, homeboy. How's it going? Karen, Dan Copeland, how you doing, frat? I hope all is well on your end. And thank you all over there on Instagram for popping in with me. We don't get names over here. We just get all of these, whatever you call these these aliases, I guess. But I certainly appreciate you. I want you to know that you hang with Dr. Cooper. I'm here because of you, and I want you to be able to gain and gather something for us, or to gather something from us that you can use in your life. And I am with Clarice Jones, and she's talking about her stage play, Angel's Palace. Yeah, Karen. She is extremely brave to be able to speak and to let the world know what she went through with this thing, and it's just amazing. Um, it's just amazing, and that's all I can really say about it because it just when I started thinking about it, I do my little background research, and we could have came in here and started talking about a bunch of statistics. That's not it. It's
Right.
all about the experience of one or two people that can change the world.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and,
Yes.
and if they can tell that story, and if they can be again a conduit, an instrument to do good, to
Yes.
tell that story, to have people understand what they went through, that's what really matters. Okay,
Exactly.
so I'm going to wrap up here. We're about 8 minutes out. You all have been hanging in with Dr. Cooper. I certainly appreciate you being here. You can catch me again at some point in the future. My schedule is such that I can't tell you I'll be here next week. I might tell you that, but I may not be. But just follow me on Instagram, Twitter at Dr. Coop MD, Facebook. I'm all at LinkedIn. I'm all over the place. I'm back. We'll have a lot more exciting. I'm back. It's lean, mean fighting machine now, down about almost 60 pounds. And I knew I was losing weight. Let me tell you a story. Carol, I knew I was losing weight. It's a little funny. So a few years, not even a few years ago, 2 years ago, and I bought this shirt actually that I'm wearing right now. This shirt is 2 years old, and I bought it from one of my favorite online stores. It's just beautiful. I'm not gonna give them a plug right now because I need to get my my little link in bio thing set up so I can get my money. But I'll do that later. Because I'm one of their, what do you call it? I decided the guy just said, hey, man, you could be one of our ambassadors. State and Liberty. I'll tell you the store. State and Liberty was started by a couple of NHL players just because they couldn't find clothes that fit, their body.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here I go, my big fat ass. I'm going to go out and buy some State and Liberty. When I first went to Kansas City, this was in 20. And it's amazing how you have these images of your body. You thinking, oh, I'm still, Mr. Sexy, whatever, Carolyn. I bought those shirts, and at the time, I had them. I had them delivered to my mother-in-law's house in Kansas City, I don't know why I did that. I think I don't know if that didn't have the apartment set up at that time or whatever. But anyway, so, no, you know what? Oh, you know what? No, I didn't. I had them delivered to my apartment. Then I took them to her house because her sister, my aunt Betty, is a seamstress, and she can manipulate stuff and make it look better. So I went over there thinking that maybe they could add a little seam down the side and give me a little more room. And Aunt Betty was like, well, no, maybe you should just lose some weight. So anyway, I tried the shirt on, and of course I looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy. But I knew I was making progress. About a year later, I was at my mother-in-law's house. She said, well, you're losing weight. You may be able to get in those shirts now. She had the shirts back there at the back. And so I went and tried. I actually could get it on. I was like, wait, now I'm in the shirt. I got room in it. Oh, look at that. I was like, okay. So anyway, a little funny side story though. But I'm doing great and just enjoying life to its fullest. Carolyn, what else you got for us? Anything else you want to leave us with before we close out hanging with Dr. Cooper on this episode on this Saturday, beautiful Saturday morning, July 16th, 2022?
Yes. Look forward to you all coming to the play July 23rd at the Brittmore Amphitheater in Fayetteville, Georgia. Angel's Palace is an amazing stage play. Also, my play, my life story, being a survivor of domestic violence, Women Shop Talk Why Real Men Wait. We are performing in Birmingham, Alabama at the Greater Grace Baptist Church. So that is an amazing story too. That's the true story that I was sharing with you about being married to a minister, and here you are, the beauty shop owner, and you're the talk of the town, and yeah, all the stuff that happened to me. That's my play that's also on tour, and I'm excited about you all being able to see this when it comes to film.
Mm-hmm.
You're so much appreciative. Any donations that you make to buy children for children that can't be there is my motivation. So please, if you can't go, I understand, but if you could please make a donation for those children at the colleges of Atlanta Tech and Spelman. These are schools that we have trained to become sex trafficking abolitionists. So they understand the language and it won't happen to them. So that's my motivation, is to get these girls with the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, and the education of
Don't
prevention.
forget the guys either, Carolyn. I have to always,
Very much.
I love you all, but don't
Yes,
forget the guys, man.
yes.
We got a lot of work to do
Oh boy.
in our communities with young men, black, white,
Yes,
it doesn't matter,
yes,
Hispanic. We got some work to do. I mean,
yes.
I'm just gonna put it out there. There's this little video going around on Instagram, and I'm just gonna say it, brothers. Y'all need to let that thing go with where the face is distorted, talking about what you pulled in and pulled out and didn't let it go. It's over with. All right, that's not cute. All right, I mean, I've laughed at a lot of stuff, but that's you need to let that go, brothers. All of you, let that go. Okay, it's over with. It's no longer funny. All right, about you having unprotected sexual intercourse and using some ridiculous birth control method. In this period of time, we're talking about Roe v. Wade, sex trafficking, human trafficking, diseases being spread rampant in our communities. Let that go. Okay, and folks, stop copying and pasting it and sending it to other people. And whoever created that, find something else to do, bro. Okay, a sister, whoever did it, find something else. I don't really get emotional about things, but I started looking at it and you all know what I'm talking about. Y'all out there on Instagram, did you do this? Oh, after I do this, it's stupid. Okay, let that go. All right. And to my kids and my family, don't propagate that mess. I know you won't. I love you because I know y'all been trained well. You've been brought up the right way.
Right.
Y'all seen it out there with the face distorted and ridiculousness. Here we are talking about, people going through serious stuff. Let that go. All right. That ain't funny. All right. Certainly ain't funny for me. All right. Anyway, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm back hanging with Dr. Cooper. I love it. Carolyn, hey, look, I'm going to get 10 tickets. And what I'll do is I think Eventbrite has a mechanism whereby you can donate the tickets, if I'm not mistaken. I remember that. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna go in and get 10. I want everybody to buy a ticket. Just buy one. You got $10. Okay. This is going for a very good cause. All right. This is about human trafficking and all of the things that go into that: domestic violence, sex trafficking, prostitution, call it what you want. A violent, involuntary
Yes.
organ donations. I mean, this gets really,
Deep.
really insane. Okay.
Yeah.
and here's the other crazy thing I learned about this, that some of these young ladies, and here's where it gets real crazy. I got to finish up. I got 1 minute left, but here's a real great. Some of these young ladies are being drugged, put into these, basically into like a warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
being
Mm-hmm.
kept under anesthetic and then impregnated. And guess
Mm-hmm.
what's happening with the kids? They're being sold to people who are trying to adopt all over the world. Think of how crazy that is. You're being kidnapped or brought into sex trafficking and then being made to become a breeder of
Mm-hmm.
children. Some of those kids are being bred to just keep the cycle of human trafficking going. It's crazy out here. It gets real crazy. I saw that just doing my research for this. This
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
Oh,
So anyway, my last shout outs, Chad. Thank you, brother. Eric Boyd, my man. You're always checking in. I'll see y'all soon. Now, you're in Dallas. You're in Texas now. And Latanya, I see you out there. I hope all is well with you. Give me some follow up. Let me know how you're doing. Um, Carolyn, this has been fantastic. Thank you
yeah.
so much for being here today, for sharing your story. Thank you
Yes,
for the
sir.
work that you are doing
Yes, sir.
to address this issue. All of you all who want to, follow up, send this out, share it with all of your networks. I'll be back. I don't know when, but it'll be soon. I got a lot of stuff to talk about, and poised and ready to do that. Carolyn, thank you so much. We're going to end the broadcast. You all take care. Have a fantastic weekend.